Hi, I'm Pastor Bill with WordServe Church, and I'm here with Pete Wardenburg, who is excited to announce the start of a new care ministry, and we wanted to delve into that. Thank you, Pete, for spending time with us today.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So, to get us started, can you give us an overview of the care ministry and what it means?
Well, the care ministry really has been an ongoing but ad hoc operation, such as the card ministry, phone calls, visitation, the receptions for funerals, etc. But I had a concern as I got older, experienced personal and family medical problems. What are we doing formally to minister to folks who can no longer come to church or church events? How do we minister to them? My fear was that maybe they felt like they were forgotten, no longer important members of First Fulshear or any other church. So the older I got, the more medical problems me and my family experienced, the more of a passion within me that grew. I got an initial individual who was homebound, and I called him up. He said yes, he'd like a visit. So I went and visited him. The next thing I knew, a call team ministry had been formed formally. And lo and behold, I was going to be its leader. I didn't get a chance to dissent, but I'm really pleased and honored to lead up this ministry.
So, and I should mention that this is a joint ministry between WordServe Church and First Fulshear Methodist Church. So, if anybody has needs, we can branch across and
absolutely
volunteers from both congregations.
The wonderful thing is we're already sharing so much in ministry work, personnel and ministry activity, and that's great. And hopefully the care team will evolve into some of your parish wanting to become active members. Not that we want to take anything away, we want it to grow exponentially.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the beauties. We're not taking anything away. We're actually getting synergy by coming together. We're adding, we're not subtracting.
Yes.
I think that's beautiful. What are the challenges that you see in starting up this ministry? What are the biggest roadblocks that we can help with?
Well, I think one of the things that I've been concerned about is the willingness of people who need the ministry being proactive and advising the church, hey, I can no longer drive. I'd really like to have somebody come visit me. We're probably a little further advanced when there is a medical problem like a surgery, hospitalization. But that's really kind of my principal concern.
Absolutely. And so how do we go about identifying people who need this help? Has the team addressed that yet?
We've talked about it, and again, I've encouraged our ministry team to really encourage the people of our congregation. Hey, if you got a problem, if you have a need, reach out to us. We cannot know about it unless somebody tells us.
Very true, yeah. And this is a great step at awareness, and that's the reason that we're doing this, is to get the word out. So even if it doesn't apply to you, if you know someone that could benefit from this, it would be a great idea to share some information. At least tell them about this team. They may be interested. Why do you think people should consider volunteering for this ministry? We've talked about the people who have a need, but what about the people who are considering volunteering? Why should they volunteer?
Well, I think I'd like to refer to Scripture. I look at the New Testament, it's just bounding and full of messages about love. You can start with the famous John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that all who would believe in him would not perish, but have everlasting life. I'd also like to refer to James, when he said, the author said, faith without works is dead. And then Matthew 25, when Jesus was talking about separating the sheep from the lambs, and he concluded, for whatever you have done for the least of these my children, you have likewise done also unto me. And that's a very powerful message to me. Another scripture reading is the famous love passage in 1 Corinthians 13, concluding with verse 13, for love, hope, and faith remain, but the greatest of these is what? Love.
Nice.
So I think that really, and love your neighbors yourself was one of the two great commandments that Jesus gave. So being a scripture-oriented church, as we are, I hope that people would take those messages to heart and become, as James said, faith without works is dead, and make sure that your faith is alive and active. And I looked at WordServe, so gratified by the reaching out and active ministry that your congregation does. You know, it's one thing, and it's great, it's important to write a check to support a ministry. I think it's even more important and more personal when you go out and physically greet, meet, help an individual. And my hat is off to WordServe, and has been for a long time.
Oh, thank you. We're just copying Jesus, though.
It's a great person to copy.
I agree. When it comes to volunteers, what qualities or skills are you looking for that would be a good fit for this team?
I think I would almost say none, but I think compassion, sincerity, and also being willing and able and committed to confidentiality. In a visit, something confidential might come up, and it should not be shared without the person's consent. So be very sensitive about that.
Sure. And as I hear you tell about the breadth of this ministry, which is still forming, there are many pieces that are going on. It's still kind of coalescing into a central command, if you will. It strikes me that you may not have to, maybe you can't visit somebody, but maybe you could write, and you could write cards for people. Or there's many, it seems like there are many ways that people could contribute to this that don't involve heavy lifting or traveling or any other thing. But if you can do that, great. But if you can't do that, that doesn't exclude you from being a part of this team. Is
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And you mentioned card ministry. Just in the last 3 days, over 9 cards have already been sent out.
Hey, all right.
To members of First Fulshear.
Fantastic. And for every occasion, or everything you can think of?
Absolutely.
Nice.
From death to hospitalization, surgery, or just I can't drive anymore because my vision's left me.
Nice. Well done. You're off and running. No good deed goes unpunished, right? Well, if the volunteer is sitting out there thinking, I'm hesitant to join the team, what would you tell them to help push them over the edge and come on and be a part of this team?
Well, try to figure out what really is your hesitation. What are you concerned about? A couple of our care team members don't like to drive at night. So we recognize that, but they're willing during the daylight hours to maybe either make a visit or offer transportation for somebody who can't drive themselves. So find out what their hurdle is and try to figure out what their passion is and work a good solution out.
Nice. Yeah, I always like to say, don't say no for people. Give them the opportunity to ask the question. So if you're thinking about this, just realize you may have hesitations, but unless you talk to someone about those hesitations, you may never have the answer, and you may miss a great opportunity. So it sounds like this is a very flexible, fluid team with a lot of opportunities and a lot of different skill sets. So don't say no for yourself either. come and talk to Pete or somebody about the team before you exclude yourself, because there's probably something that will fit you. How could the broader congregation help contribute to the success of this ministry? What can
Well, you use the word synergy, which I love. You have some very committed, dedicated, talented people in your congregation. And to say the door is closed between First Fulshear and WordServe would be not God-pleasing. So I would say we would embrace whoever in your congregation is willing to look into it and participate.
Great. Yeah, I love the sound of that. We don't need to put up walls. We need to take some more walls down, I think, there. All right. And then going forward, where do you see this care ministry in the future? What do you hope it evolves into?
Only God knows. I just want to be sensitive to what He wants us to do and respond positively to it. You know, like I said at the beginning, it started out with my impatience about calling on the homebound, and all of a sudden these various parts started getting folded into it and formalized. You know, I'll use an example. We had a Stephen ministry some time ago, and it kind of, for whatever reason, just wilted and was not active. Well, it's going to get active again.
Okay.
I'm a long time ago Stephen minister. Went through the training and everything. And while Gene Kuntz will probably be the leader of that, I'll be on that team.
Nice. Yeah, I too was a Stephen minister back in the day before I did the whole seminary thing. Yeah, that was one of my first steps towards taking my faith life seriously. So if that interests you, it's basically set up for training that gives you one-to-one biblical counseling skills, listening skills, and all those kinds of things. It's a great program if you are interested in Stephen's ministry as well. But Pete, you can't do it all, so we want to come alongside and support you. So don't take anything else on. You've got plenty.
Well, that's a nice thing. I'm titularly the leader, so I can delegate.
There you go. Go thou and do likewise.
Don't do as I do as I say.
That's also true. Unless you're Jesus, yeah.
Right. As I said before, I don't know where this ministry is going to go. That's up to God. I just want to respond positively to His leadership. Do I have personal aspirations? Absolutely not. I just have a passion for reaching out to people with needs. You know, I'd love to be active in your ministry on home repairs and building, but with my physical limitations, it's not practical.
Yeah, no, and I totally get that. And that's one of the beauties that I see in this team, Pete, because people who can do the physical things can do them. If you can't do the physical things, you can still be part of this team. You can still be a part of a vital ministry. Yeah, and a vitally needed ministry, right? There's a lot of people, they talk about faith, they talk about love, and we read about it, we study about it, but nothing brings that home by experiencing it. And you experience it with a team like this. So I think I love this ministry, I love the idea, I love your energy and enthusiasm. Just goes to show you never know when God's going to reach out and ask you to do something. So we appreciate your response to God, and I encourage you to look into this care team ministry, because it might be something that you can contribute to in some way. And the beauty of it is, the more people we get involved, the less any one person is bearing that load. Like we always say, many hands make light work. But it is a very deep spiritual work that is going on here. So I encourage you to talk to Pete, talk to anybody that is a part of this team, see if there's a spot for you, and if there's not, I bet Pete will make one for you.
Yes, let me give you my telephone number. It's my cell number, so it's rarely away from me. It's 281-684-6532. Or contact Pastor Bill.
Absolutely.
And he'll know how to get in touch with me. And I thank you for your interest.
And we thank you for your service, and we invite you to be a part of something that gives life meaning. This is Pastor Bill from WordServe Church with Pete Wardenburg from First Fulshear. Have a great day, and we're out.